Nothing like a good day out on the water, but that's assuming you can make it to the water. Welcome back, guys, to this week's episode of Boating News of the Week. Our first story to make the boating news this week is going to take us out to the San Francisco, California area, where you may know the old saying, a bad day fishing's better than a good day at the office. Well, that is not always the case, as can be seen here by these 5 men who are being rescued off this sport fish vessel. The 5 crew members on board the sport fishing vessel set out from the San Francisco Bay Area to go have a nice day of fishing when they realized their boat was taking on water. They were able to get off an emergency radio call, and fortunately there were Good Samaritan vessels in the area to help. The charter vessel Tigerfish and also the charter vessel Huck Finn came to their aid, which was extremely fortunate for this crew because as soon as the Tigerfish got all 5 of the members off this boat, it was only a matter of minutes before this vessel was almost completely submerged underwater. Fortunately, due to the quick actions of the charter fishing captains, there were no injuries reported in this event other than the sport fishing vessel itself. Our next incident to make the boating news this week is going to take us to the north of Isle of Man, where a cargo ship ran aground this past Thursday. The CEG Orbit was a cargo vessel that was on its way from Liverpool to Belfast carrying 1,200 tons of wheat when somehow, while en route, the vessel struck shore. The crew of 5 who were on board the vessel all reported no injuries, but the crew did have to remain on board the vessel throughout the operation to try and refloat it. Due to the government of Manx COVID entry restrictions, the first attempt to float the boat Thursday afternoon actually failed. The ship was refloated in a late night operation during high tide and is now moored in Douglas Harbor and undergoing evaluation to make sure there's no damage to the vessel. Currently, at this time, the cause of the incident is still under investigation, and it's not been determined yet whether this was a mechanical error or a navigational error. Our next incident to make the boating news this week is going to take us to the Miami area, where this week a U.S. Coast Guard rescue team was notified by a boater this past Saturday around 1 p.m. that a man was adrift on a makeshift raft and needed help. The man reportedly told rescuers he and 3 others had left from Cuba 10 days ago, but he told them unfortunately the other 2 men did not survive the journey. The Coast Guard said the man was in rough shape, but he was taken to an area hospital for treatment. The Coast Guard reminds boaters if you ever run into a situation like this, please contact authorities as soon as possible, just like these boaters did. Our next incident to make the boating news this week is going to take us over to New Bedford, Massachusetts and Pope Island Marina, where this week authorities were called in to a fire on a yacht that has been deemed a multi-million-dollar loss. The 80-foot vessel caught fire just after 5:30 p.m. The fire did not want to go out easily, and firefighters battled the blaze for quite some time as the yacht contained approximately 500 gallons of fuel, giving the flames that extra little bit of energy they needed to really cause some damage. The cause of the blaze at this time is unknown, and authorities say it's going to be very difficult to determine the cause due to the amount of damage the vessel took. Fortunately, there were no injuries reported during the incident. Our next incident to make the boating news this week is going to take us over to Ocean City, where 7 people had to be rescued from a boat that was on fire this past Sunday morning. The Ocean City Fire Department responded to a call about a boat being on fire just inside the south jetty of the inlet at approximately 5:17 a.m. Authorities said that at the time of the fire there were 7 passengers aboard the vessel. Fortunately, they were all rescued by a civilian Good Samaritan vessel that was in the area. Immediately, no injuries were reported. The vessel, however, did not suffer that same fortunate fate. The vessel called the Last Call is actually a popular charter fishing vessel in the Ocean City area and well known to many locals in the area as well, and unfortunately the vessel has already been declared a total loss. The cause of the fire at this time is still undetermined and under investigation. Our next incident to make the boating news this week is going to take us out to Washington, where there are forest fires. I know that might be a little bit of a strange one to have in the boating news, but I've seen several images like this past week on different social media sources showing people out on Lake Chelan enjoying their day out boating, when all of a sudden the next thing you know they're being buzzed by these large cargo planes that are landing in the lake and pulling water to help fight the 25 Mile Creek fire. I have to imagine this is a pretty wild scene to see out on the lake while you're out boating. Authorities are still currently battling this blaze that's burned almost 11,000 acres. Authorities are making headway though, and the fire is said to be approximately 21% contained. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Boating News of the Week. If you ever see anything crazy happening in your waterways, be sure to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram and let me know, and you might see your stories over here. Just like Alex Maldonado, Jahang Gao, RJ James, and John Rimmer did this week. And if you haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here.